All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the biggest challenges in AI right now. How do you take a really cool AI agent, a prototype, and turn it into something that's actually dependable enough for the real world? It's a massive leap from a quick demo to a system your business can actually bet on.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? I mean, anyone can spin up a basic agent in an afternoon. That's the easy part. But getting to the point where you actually trust it with your real data, with your real customers, well, that is a whole different ballgame. That's where the real work truly begins.
And the stakes for getting this wrong are sky high. We are not talking about little glitches here. We're talking about a customer service agent getting tricked into just giving away free stuff, or users somehow getting into a confidential internal database, or an agent just running wild and racking up a huge bill because nobody's watching. These are legitimate business failures, and they happen when you skip that hard part of building trust.
So how much of the work is that hard part, really? Well, it's about 80%. No joke. In the real world, about 80% of the entire effort to get an AI agent into production is spent on the infrastructure, the security, the validation, all the stuff that makes it safe and reliable. The core AI bit, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So that brings us to Act 1 of our agent's journey, the training ground. This is where we build that trust, where we forge it before the agent ever sees a single real user. It's all about creating a super disciplined, automated process before you even think about launching. And the core idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's called evaluation-gated deployment. All it means is that no version of your agent, not a single one, gets out the door to users until it passes a whole battery of quality and safety checks. Think of it as a mandatory quality gate. It doesn't pass, it doesn't ship, period.
And the machine that runs this whole process? That's the CI/CD pipeline. The best way to think about it is like an automated quality control factory. Every single change, whether it's to the code or a prompt or even a tool the agent uses, it gets put through this factory. And with each stage it passes, our confidence that it's safe to release just gets higher and higher.
This pipeline basically works like a funnel, designed to catch problems early and often. So, first up is pre-merge. This is where we run all the fast, cheap checks to weed out the obvious stuff. If it passes that, it moves on to staging, which is a full-on replica of production where we can really put it through its paces. And only if it clears that hurdle does it get to the final gate before production, which, you guessed it, usually needs a real human to give the final okay.
But even after all that, you don't just flip a switch and release it to everyone. That would be crazy. You need safe rollout strategies. You could do a canary release, or maybe just 1% of users get it first. Or you could use a blue-green deployment, so you can roll back instantly if something goes wrong. A/B testing is another great one, to see how it actually performs on real business goals. The whole point is to have a big undo button for production.
And we can't forget about security. This is absolutely not something you can just bolt on at the end. It has to be built in from the ground up, with at least 3 layers. First, you have policy definition. This is basically the agent's constitution, written right into its core instructions. Then comes the enforcement, the guardrails and filters that physically block bad stuff from coming in or going out. And finally, continuous assurance, because you're never done with security. You have to be constantly testing, constantly trying to break it, to find the weaknesses before someone else does. Okay, so our agent passed its training with flying colors. Now for Act 2, surviving in the wild. It's live, it's interacting with thousands of people, and the whole challenge just shifted. It's no longer about pre-launch checks, it's about real-time operations.
See, unlike regular software, an autonomous agent needs a totally different way of thinking about operations. You can't just monitor it, you have to manage it in a constant loop. You observe what it's doing, you act immediately to keep it stable and safe, and then you evolve it based on everything you're learning. Observe, act, evolve, over and over again.
So let's break that down. The observe phase is like giving your agent senses. I absolutely love the analogies the source material uses for this. Logs are like the agent's diary, a super detailed, granular record of exactly what happened. Traces are the story. They connect the dots in that diary to explain why it happened. And metrics? That's the high-level report card, telling you how well the agent is doing overall. Now, observing is totally pointless if you can't do anything about it. That's where the act phase comes in. This is all about having the levers of control, and it really breaks down into 2 big categories. On one hand, you're managing health, making sure performance is good, costs are in check, and it can scale up or down. And on the other hand, you're managing risk, having a clear plan to contain, triage, and shut down any threats the second they pop up.
So if ACT is about those immediate, in-the-moment reflexes, Evolve is the strategic, long-term learning. This is where you take all that rich data from the observe phase and you use it to make permanent, fundamental upgrades to the agent's brain. You're making it smarter, safer, and more efficient so the same problems don't keep happening.
And that brings us to the final stage of our agent's evolution, Act 3. It's time to go from a solo act to being a team player. Because once organizations start building dozens of these specialized agents, a brand new problem shows up. How in the world do you get them all to work together?
So how do agents talk to the world? More importantly, how do they talk to each other? To answer that, you really have to understand the difference between an agent using a simple tool versus an agent collaborating with another, equally intelligent agent. They're two totally different kinds of conversations.
Okay, so there are two key protocols that make this happen. For simple, straightforward tasks, you've got MCP, or the Model Context Protocol. This is basically the agent giving a direct command like, hey, tool, fetch the weather data. It's specific. But for complex collaboration, you have A2A, or the agent-to-agent protocol. This is like one agent telling another, hey, go achieve this complex goal for me, like analyze why our customer churn is up and give me a report. It's about the goal, not the specific steps.
Let's make this real with a brilliant analogy from the source material, an AI-powered auto repair shop. So a customer comes in and uses A2A to tell the shop manager agent about their problem. The manager then uses A2A again to delegate that diagnosis to a specialized mechanic agent. Now the mechanic needs to do some specific stuff, so it uses MCP to call its tools, like a diagnostic scanner. Then once it knows what's wrong, it uses A2A one more time to talk to an external supplier agent to order the right part. See how they all work together? It's just a perfect example.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together in our finale. We've gone from the training ground to surviving in the wild to learning how to work as a team. Now it's time to see how this all fits together into one single discipline.
And this whole journey, this entire life cycle, from that first prototype all the way to a collaborative ecosystem of agents, it actually has a name, AgentOps. It's the new field of operations we need to manage these complex, autonomous AI systems.
And the key thing to get is that AgentOps isn't just one thing. It's this combination of getting the right governance in place with people and process, building that automated trust using things like CI/CD pipelines, and then running that constant loop of continuous evolution based on what you're seeing in the real world.
So what does this mean for you right now? Well, if you're just getting started, nail the fundamentals. Build an evaluation data set and get a CI/CD pipeline going. If you're already scaling up, your focus should be on automating that feedback loop, getting insights from production back into development as fast as possible. And for everyone, the big goal is to standardize on protocols like A2A, so you can build a real ecosystem, not just a bunch of siloed projects.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. The next big thing isn't just about building one smarter agent. It's about orchestrating armies of them that can all work and learn together. And the discipline of AgentOps is what's going to make that a reality. So the real question is your last mile of production ready to become the first step into that future?